Welcome to DAPS Magic Live. I am Mr. DAPS, and tonight I am joined by Caitlin, who just returned, well, almost 3 weeks ago from the Walt Disney World Resort. But we really haven't had a chance to talk about your trip and the experiences you had while you were there. And since we're all stuck at home and not going to Walt Disney World right now or Disneyland, it seemed like the perfect time to talk to you about your trip and catch up on it and geek out about Walt Disney World a little bit. So if you would like, you can hop into the chat and ask Caitlin questions, and I will try to field them to the best of my ability. And if not, you'll just get the questions from me, and it won't be too bad, I promise. But so Caitlin, let's start off with the very basics of your trip, most important things. How many days was your trip long, and where did you stay?
Okay, well, first off, let's start with I went with my brother William. He really wanted to go, and so we thought, okay, we're going, and we planned it in about 3 months. We booked everything in
So for
December.
those of you that saw the logo, that's not me. That's her brother.
Although a lot of people mistake Mr. Daps and I for siblings, we are not actually related, although we do look alike and act alike.
And sometimes act like siblings, but yes.
A lot of the time we act like siblings. So William and I went, and we were there for 8 days. We did Tuesday to Tuesday. So we stayed at the All-Star Sports Resort, which I did more for William because he's a huge sports fanatic, and so we just also wanted something cheap. But we had a great time. It was a fun hotel to stay at, especially for him. And they also little thing about the cafeteria at All Star Sports. They sell eggless edible cookie dough. Like you can just get it to go.
Like in a cup or something, or
yeah.
okay.
Just to give you like this little cup of like edible cookie dough, and that may or may not have been consumed on numerous occasions.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
But it was super fun. So yeah, we left on March 3rd. So we kind of got there and back before all the chaos happened. It wasn't too terrible when we went. It was more just like wash your hands a lot. Anytime we'd like go on a ride, we'd like try to do the instead of like pull up your safety belt, or we're like nope. So we just washed our hands a lot, and kept our distance. But
Isn't it
our
amazing
first
how a week later everything changed?
it was 2 days after we got back that they made the announcement, like we're closing on Monday, and William and I just kind of went, "Oh my gosh, we literally just got back."
Oh, you're right. That was that week. Wow.
Yeah, it was exactly that week, right when we got back.
Wow.
It was crazy, but the first day we were, or our first park day on March 4th was the opening of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Which you had a home run of a day.
That was such a good
So
day. Like,
talk about your plan.
Trip, but
Talk about your plan, and then talk about what actually happened.
our plan was so I have learned over now the last few trips to Walt Disney World not to rely on theme park transportation. Um, I'm not about the buses. I just don't do them. I don't like waiting for them. I will pay the extra money for a lift, and I will get a lift. um, so we planned on, because we got in Tuesday in the afternoon. Our flights got in about 15 minutes apart, but because I was up at 3 in the morning to get to the airport, he was up at 4 in the morning. Like, we were really exhausted and didn't want to do anything Tuesday night. So we just got food, chilled in our hotel. Poor William, his suitcase broke the moment we got to our hotel room. So
oh no, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, we got to the room and the wheel just went.
At least it's just a wheel.
But like he couldn't use it; it just didn't move.
Bummer.
So we just were like, we'll just chill at the hotel, take it easy. We've been up for 12 hours, whatever. So Wednesday, our plan was to only go to Hollywood Studios. We ended up getting tickets that were like it was the one park per day, but it was literally one park. Like you couldn't go, oh, I'm going to do 2 Epcot days, 2 Animal Kingdom days. It was, you got one day at each park. So that's the ticket we wound up getting because it was cheaper. So our first day went to Hollywood Studios. We thought we wouldn't get up like crazy early because I know that over in Hollywood Studios there's still a lot of people getting there at 5 in the morning for Rise of the Resistance.
Well, not
We were
anymore,
not
but
about
yes.
we were not about that.
No.
So we got our lift about 6:45, 6:50, so not terrible. We ended up getting through security, and security at Disney World now is kind of a breeze. Like it didn't take that long.
They do a really good job. When I was back there in October, I was
Yeah.
really impressed. September, whenever it was I went, I was really impressed.
Yeah, we got through security super quick, and I think just because we're also like we do this often enough, we know to have everything open and just be ready. But we got in line for Hollywood Studios about 7:10. Park opened at 8, and they were already letting people in. We got in. It was really cold in the morning, but we knew it was going to be hot later in the day, so we got a locker for all of our like shorts and sweatshirts and whatever. So we were in the park probably about 7:15, got our locker, and went and got in line. So if you know Hollywood Studios, and when you walk straight in and you see the Chinese theater, well, there's the side street that goes to Tower Terror. That's where the line for Runaway Railway was starting.
Wow. At
So we had to
7:15.
sign, like, at 7:15 in the morning.
And the park opened at 8?
The park opened at 8. There was already a line stretching back to, like, towards Tower of Terror. And we're like, oh my word. Like, the line said, from this moment, 150 minutes. And we went, oh no.
That's not that bad, though, for an opening day attraction when you think about it.
Right. And then in my head, I was like, well, the park actually isn't open yet. So obviously there's no one on it. So we're going to keep moving. And then once the park opens, they're going to funnel people on really quick.
Totally.
So we got in line. And honestly, the line just kept moving. Like,
Which is the best.
Moving. And I later that morning, I went, I want to know who the person was that designed the queue, because the way it works, like, went up towards the theater, but then, like, around where the old Star Wars stage was, and it just kind of, like, wrapped everywhere, and we're like, who designed this queue? Because by the time we got off...
It's like the game of Snake.
It was, because by the time we got off, it said it was a 300-minute wait, and we're like, where are these people lined up?
Wow.
But yeah, so we got in line, it moved, we made friends with the girl in front of us. She's like, it's my birthday, I'm here by myself, but I wanted to be here. We're like, okay. So we chatted the whole time with her. It went by super quick.
I hope you got her a cupcake or something.
Well, funny enough, we were in line, and we were getting close to the actual, like, theater portion. And Josh tomorrow walked by, and in my head, I'm like, Josh.
Great guy.
She has no idea who he is. And he's like, happy birthday. And she's like, thanks. And after he left, who was that? And I'm like, that's the president of the resort. Like,
awesome guy. Yeah, we miss him out here.
Amazing.
He really is. We should get him on one of these sometime. We should see if we can get him on a DAPS Magic Live or Geeks Corner or something. He's a great guy.
Rad.
We're gonna try that.
I feel like we can do it. We can do it.
We'll start a social media campaign. So you get in line at 7:15.
Yeah.
What time did you get on the line or get on the attraction, and then what did you also do while you were in line? Because I think you played it really smart.
We did, and honestly, because here's the thing, we also had a fast pass for later that day. I actually, the moment fast passes were available, I found out within 5 minutes, and I was able to snag one for opening afternoon.
Which is how we got our video. It worked out really well. Just giving credit where credit is due. I wasn't there.
Okay, so by the time, so we got in line at 7:15, we were off by 9.
That's not bad
so
at all.
there's like some context, because like when you get actually into the Chinese theater, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy on spoilers because the video's up, but it's the first area that you walk into, they kept it very much the Chinese theater. Like it's.
I was say it seemed like it was still a lot like the old attraction.
They just took out like the costume.
Yeah.
Cubes, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
And then they put like posters relating to the attraction. Some of them are animated, some of them are not. But it's still very much the Chinese theater.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of PhilharMagic in Magic Kingdom.
Which I just realized we didn't do that when we went to Magic Kingdom. But I was like, that's Disneyland.
But theirs is better.
Yeah, we
Um,
totally just spaced and didn't do that.
Before we get to Mickey's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, while you were in line, you also did something else, didn't you? For later in the day, on your phone.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was like, I think
totally
you did
forgot.
this because I thought this was the way to do it.
Yeah, because we got into the park so early, but we were talking with Natalie so much. We were like, blah, 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 and then it was one of those things we looked at our phone, we're like, oh my gosh, it's 7:58. Oh no. And like 8 o'clock, because there are hundreds, if not thousands of people in our area because, it's opening day of an attraction. And also, thank goodness it was really cool in the morning because there were so many people and we're like, thank goodness it's not hot right now and we're not.
Yeah, that would not have been fun.
Hour and a half long line in 90 degrees because it did hit 90 degrees with 60% humidity later that day. It was awful. 8 o'clock on the dot, we were like, okay, rise the resistance, and we got boarding group 28.
Nice.
So yeah, so we were like, okay, cool, all right, well, we got this. And so
which was great because William hadn't been on it yet, right?
He had in Disney.
Oh, he did get to. Okay, so
yeah,
that's right.
We were able to do it a couple times, but he was like, if we're here, we might as well try to get it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because honestly, our only goal for the day was really to do
Mickey.
Runaway Railway.
Yeah, totally.
And then we had reservations for dinner at 50's Prime Time. So that was like our only goal for the day because we had Slinky Dog Fast Passes for a later day. So it wasn't as much of a rush to do Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, like, got our boarding passes, still did the queue. And honestly, like, Disney did a really good job with keeping the queue moving. There were points I'm like, okay, I want to take pictures, and they're like, keep moving, and I'm like, okay. Like, it just we never stopped moving. So there was really never a chance to take photos.
I'd be curious if it was that way later in the day too, or if that's just the way it's designed. You're always going to be moving because it just flows that well.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, like, later in the day when we did it, we had a fast pass, so we kind of,
skipped all that.
All the crazy queue. But yeah, so with the queue, there's like the Chinese theater, and then you go into a new part of the queue, which still kind of has the Chinese theater vibes. But a lot of the details are like hidden Mickeys and stuff. And so then you go into this room, and it's funny because it's not that big. There's maybe 50, 60 of us in this room, and there's a projection screen. And we're all just
Is it in the old screening room from the Great Movie Ride? Because that was my hunch, but
I like the screening room at the end.
No, at the beginning, the one where they gave you. I think it was like the history of Hollywood or something like that. If you guys know what I'm talking about, leave it in the comments if that's the old screening room before you actually went in and then got on the old ride. But keep going.
Maybe it wasn't a big room, and it still had the same Chinese theater like detailing, and so there's the projection screen, and so we're kind of like standing there, and we're kind of like, there's one very small door for us to get out of, like, and we're obviously not going backwards because nothing moves here, so we're kind of like, how are we getting out of here? So like the cute little short plays at the beginning, which was done, I believe, specifically for the attraction. So the short going, and it's really cute, and you kind of have to watch the video to really like see how it worked because our minds were totally blown like when it happened. So short happens, the screen explodes, and so just like it rips, and we're just kind of like, how we're all looking at each other like, how did that work? And then like the gate opened, and then you see like this little walkway, and we all just kind of went,
huh?
How did they do this? So it just was kind of wild, like, because then the smoke clears and they're like to the trains, and then you get into the part of the queue that's very much Runaway Railway themed. It's the Run Amok Railway, and just very like the way it was designed looks very like you stepped into a cartoon, but it's still real, just like the way they did like the line work and just the colors and textures, and it's weird because it looks like you literally stepped into a cartoon.
So would you say it's a combination of a little bit of cartoon spin in Toontown meets Winnie the Pooh meets a little bit of Rise of the Resistance?
Yes.
And that's the way I'm going to ask it, just so we don't give away too many spoilers. And if you want all the spoilers, you can see them online. But how would you compare it? Technically, it's a dark ride, I guess. And I would say it looks to me like it's family friendly. Is that
Oh yeah,
all ages are
definitely
good?
family friendly. Like, I'll be 100% honest. I went in with super low expectations for this attraction.
So,
I
and you loved it. It seemed like when we were talking.
Yeah,
And
it was,
where would you compare it with other full family friendly attractions?
oh gosh. I mean, I think it's better than a lot of them. Like,
Is there any you could like maybe put it close to, or is it just better because it's utilizing all of the different elements they've learned through the years?
technology wise, it was similar to Rise of the Resistance, not from a storytelling standpoint, but from just the way that they use
The
the
magic tricks,
technology.
yeah.
Um, I mean, like, it kind of makes a lot of the other dark rides just look like, okay.
Cool.
I mean, the nice part, which William and I talked about later, because so it's a great attraction. I honestly, again, went in with super low expectations, and we got off, and I was like, okay, I'm really glad we have a fast pass to do that again. Like, I was really excited to do it again. We both felt very much the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, just the technology, and also I don't love the new style of animation of Mickey and Minnie, so it's kind of like, oh, how is this going to work out? But the way they did the animatronics were different.
Okay.
So, like, it wasn't anything I was expecting at all. That was the thing. Like, I went in honestly expecting it to be all screens.
Okay.
That was not the case. Like,
so it's probably going to be better than Ratatouille when it opens, whenever
yeah,
it
I
ends
think
up opening
so.
for real.
And the thing is, like, from the moment you see the initial short at the beginning, you become part of the story. And that's the thing that I think a lot of the dark rides are missing, is you're part of the story, but there's such a disconnect that you don't understand that you're part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you go on,
which is really connecting to Walt's original vision for dark rides then.
Right. So, I mean, if you go on, like, my cousin told me this years ago, she's like, go on Snow White, pretend you've never seen the movie. And I was like, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, if you go on Snow White or, you know, some of the other dark rides, you're like, what does this have to do with the movie? The beauty of Runaway Railway is it told a pretty cohesive story. You were part of it. And at the end, you're like, okay, I understand, like, the whole story.
So here's my unfair question for you on this. So you're going to Hollywood Studios and you get to choose one attraction that you're going to hit. One top level attraction. So you could do this, you could do Tower of Terror, which you're not going to pick. You could choose Rise of Resistance. You could choose Slinky. You could choose Aerosmith. Which one, if you only can choose one, would you pick, and which one do you think William would pick?
Okay, so in a perfect world, I'd be able to go on Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, but I can't. So,
but still, you have three pretty big attractions you could choose.
William had actually never done the original Tower of Terror until we went.
Okay.
I was like, go do it, bye. He did it, and he was like, okay, I'm good. I don't think I need to do that again, but I've done it. I think William would probably pick between Rock and Roller Coaster or Rise.
Okay.
Slinky Dog is fun, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to go do this. Although I will say,
cute.
We ended up doing Slinky on our second to last night because we had extra magic hours, and we're like, we'll just wait for it because we ended up not using the fast pass we had for it. And we were on Slinky when the fireworks were happening, and so that was really
Oh, that would be cool.
that was really, I was stoked about that. If I had to pick, it would probably be between Rise and Runaway Railway, but I think I would still go with Rise just because there's so much immersion before you actually get on the attraction.
It's a bigger experience, I think.
It really is, because I mean, yeah, Runaway Railway, great fun. Like,
yeah,
would definitely try to get a fast pass for it the next time I go. And I think honestly, after going on it, I think it'll be a great addition to Toontown. I think it's something that Toontown kind of needs. It needs an e-ticket back there. Not to say Roger Rabbit isn't, but it's just Roger Rabbit isn't a draw anymore.
No,
like it was 20 years ago.
You can almost walk on it half the time now.
Exactly. So I think Runaway Railway will be a great addition to Toontown. Not only aesthetically, but just I hope it kind of breathes new life back there, because like I love Toontown. I think it's so aesthetically quirky, and like I don't do a lot of stuff in Toontown except to walk around and take pictures, because I just love
I like it when it's not too hot.
Colors and yeah, it's just there's so many fun elements of Toontown to like look at and take pictures of. And like my thing in Toontown is there's always the hibiscus flowers that are in bloom, and like the juxtaposition of like a hibiscus flower and then like City Hall, as all like weird as it is. But I love Toontown, and so I think this will breathe some new life into Toontown. But I loved Runaway Railway a lot more than I anticipated. I didn't even think I was gonna like it. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, that's cute, whatever. I was pleasantly blown away with how much I really enjoyed it, and I was really glad we were able to do it a second time.
Nice.
It was super fun. And so we were off Runaway Railway by 9, so it was an hour after park opening. By that point in time, Starbucks was necessary.
I would think so.
I was like, okay, it's only an hour in and I'm already done. Like, so got Starbucks, hung out with Natalie for a while, so that was fun. And then by 9:15, our boarding group got called.
That is awesome.
We were like, oh.
So
okay.
if you could have park hopped, you could really have done some pretty good damage that day.
Yeah, we still did a lot that day, because we went from Runaway Railway, hung out for a bit. I think around 10, we ended up going over to Rise. We did have to wait a while for Rise. Like, that's one thing that I noticed over there is I don't know if they just have fewer boarding groups and more people in each boarding group, but when you go on here, you pretty much walk through the whole outdoor part of the queue.
Sure.
And then you kind of have to wait when you're inside. This one, we were waiting outside the moment we got in the queue, and we're like, oh, so we probably waited. Yeah, so we probably waited 30-ish minutes.
Which isn't bad.
45 minutes in the actual queue, though. But I think when we're used to
walking on, basically, and it's a whole,
so that was kind of strange. And so after that, we kind of walked around Galaxy's Edge a little bit to kind of compare. It was weird because it's the same, but it's
Isn't
better.
It is. It's so much more compact, and then it's way more vibrant also. And then there's the extra walkway it's kind of oh, what's this doing here? And there's not a door there, and there's a few things that are different. And
yeah, well, and then it was kind of an awkward. I think that they did our entrances very well, where they kind of fit into the next lands.
Yeah.
Over there, the one that goes into Toy Story Land is just
weird.
It's kind of jarring. You're oh, this does not work out.
It's a very odd feeling to walk through that one, and and I feel like the real awesome reveal is from Grand Avenue. That's the way I would have people enter, because I actually think that's probably the best reveal for any of the entrances for both coasts. Because that is the awe-inspiring entrance, I think. Right. And ours are in California are really good, and they're cool, and I was blown away when I first went through them. But that particular entrance takes it to a whole new level, and it's just really, it's really, and part of it is because I think you're going from something that's so different, you're in this brick Muppet area, you go through this kind of cool slate, whatever that tunnel thing is, and so it's just a much more dramatic change. Let's pivot to a couple of the other parks, and we'll breeze through those fairly quickly. You hit all the 4 parks, right? Yeah,
we did all parks twice.
Cool.
So that worked out nicely.
So let's hit Animal Kingdom next, because you can't go wrong with Animal Kingdom. I think I know what your favorite thing at Animal Kingdom is, but is it a mountain?
Yes.
Okay, so you did go on Everest twice. So if I were to ask the question I asked about Disney's Hollywood Studios, you would say Everest is the one attraction you don't want to miss.
100%. Well,
I would say Flight of Passage, but I like both of them, but Flight of Passage to me is the blow you away attraction.
Yeah, and again, and I have to say, it was kind of crazy because I managed to get like all of the major fast passes. So
Yeah, which I never get.
I got I got Runaway Railway for opening day. I got Frozen Ever After. I got Slinky Dog Dash, um, Mine Train, and I got Flight of Passage. So I managed to get fast passes.
You hit all the big ones. Yeah.
I did. It was crazy because William hadn't been in almost 3 years, so he hadn't seen Pandora. He hadn't.
What do
seen
you think of
Happily Ever
Pandora?
After. He was just like, we walked in, he just was like.
So, do you think he was more blown away by Pandora or Galaxy's Edge?
Oh, Galaxy's Edge, 100%. Because I got his reaction the first time he saw Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, and he saw the Falcon, and he was like, ah.
That is true.
Like, it was amazing. But no, so there was a lot that he had, like, he actually hadn't even seen the parade, Festival of Fantasy. Because poor kid, he was sick the day we did Magic Kingdom last time, so he didn't get to see Festival of Fantasy. So there was a lot of new things. It was Festival of Fantasy, Happily Ever After, Pandora, Toy Story Land. Like, there was so much new he hadn't seen.
It's like half a new park.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So I'm glad we had the time that we did.
So did you guys?
They had enough time.
Hopping back over to Animal Kingdom, did you guys get to go on? Like, you went on Everest, Flight of Passage. Did you do Navi River Journey?
We didn't get to Navi River Journey.
It's fine.
It was like, we were like, because we had fast passes for Flight of Passage. That was the big one. The safaris. We did the safaris first thing in the morning.
That's a good time.
Because it wasn't.
Did you see the lion?
Yet. The lions, all three of them were out.
Cool.
They were all sleeping. But
who cares? They're out.
And then we saw the baby zebra, or one of the baby zebras. There were some pretty feisty ostriches like running next to the the truck, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my arms.
Nice.
Yes, we were able to do that because we ended up doing Pandora later in the day because we're like, you know what, we have our Flight of Passage fast pass, we'll go later.
Around that. Yeah.
We kind of kept an eye on Navi River Journey like after we went on the safaris, and I had been on Navi River Journey, and it was one of those, I didn't feel like it was worth more than a 20-minute wait.
Yeah, I think it's 30-minute wait. And I will say, it surprised me because on my last trip, there wasn't much of a line. So I was just kind of, I can do this. Why not? And I was surprised the first time I went on it. I was kind of like, oh, that's nice. It's a floating dark ride. And it didn't really blow me away, but it didn't like unimpress me either. It was like, it had really cool effects. It had a really good, like the animatronic at the end is ridiculously awesome.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh, wow. And I will say the first time I went on it, I hadn't seen the movie yet. And so everything I knew about Avatar came from within the land, which made me want to see the movie. Saw the movie. It was okay. It was decent. But what it did do is it gave me a deeper appreciation for Pandora. And so when I went back, I enjoyed the river journey so much more the second time than I did the first time. And I was like, oh, I would go on this. And did you guys do like Festival of Lion King or any of the shows?
Yeah, we did Festival of Lion King, but back to Navi River Journey, we kept averaging like a 60 to 90-minute wait, and I just kind of went,
that's a little bit long.
No, I managed to snag, because we had all our fast passes kind of like done for the day. I managed to get one later in the day for Festival of Lion King because Wayne was like, we have to see that because that's a fan favorite.
It's fantastic.
Walked around, did all the, looked at all the animals. I had actually never been over to the conservation station.
Oh, I love it over there. You get to go on a train.
We're like, okay, right.
Duh.
So we're like, let's go over there. We've never done it. It's kind of cool because then you get to see like all the animals like behind the scenes. So like they had rhinos in the back. And we're like, oh, and then one of the feisty ostriches was in the back, like running the gate as we were going by.
Nice.
And we went over because this was one of the cool things that we ended up getting to do our second Animal Kingdom day, which actually kind of rearranged some of our plans. We went and we were walking in the actual building, and they were doing the animation thing, and we were like, we don't want to do that, but we were walking by, and where they have like the vet window, one of the vets was actually out, and he's like, and he was from Australia, so like he just sounded cool. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys just missed it. We were doing a CT scan of a kangaroo, and we're like, oh dang it, like that would have been cool. He's like, but if you come back on Monday, we're doing a wellness checkup of a lioness. And we're like, what? Like, okay. He's like, oh yeah, because Nat Geo's here and they're filming a program for Disney Plus, and it's all about the animal care here at Animal Kingdom. So like, come back on Monday. And we're like, heck yeah, we're coming back on Monday. So at the end of our trip, we ended up doing that, going straight over there. It was really cool because there's like this lioness that's like 8 feet long, probably like a few hundred pounds, like paw the size of my face, and she was like 5 feet in front of me on a table getting her teeth cleaned, and I was like, what is this?
Insane.
And then camera crews everywhere. It was funny because when we got there, we were the first guests there, but there was already a crowd, and we're like, we were on the first train. How did all these people beat us? And there was a cast member working there, and he's like, these are all cast members. Hold on, guys, new guests are here. And you could hear some of them like, I've never seen so many vet techs wear makeup before, but they're all on camera today.
That makes sense.
But like, that was, so we actually did a lot of firsts while we were there. Never had been to the Planet Watch, like, a lot of firsts for William. But Animal Kingdom, we kind of took it easy because
I think that's the nice thing about Animal Kingdom is you really don't. In fact, if you push too hard for Animal Kingdom, I usually feel like it gets hotter than the other parks in many respects.
Funny enough, like our first 2 days, because we did Hollywood Studios the first day, Epcot the second day, and Animal Kingdom the third day, Magic Kingdom the fourth. It was like 90 degrees. By the time we got to Animal Kingdom, it was like 70 degrees with wind.
Nice.
We were like, what's
that would be amazing.
And then by Saturday night, when we got to Saturday, was actually really cold in Magic Kingdom. Like I had to wear a sweatshirt and then my jersey, and then when we were waiting for Happily Ever After, it was 55 degrees, and I had to put on another jacket.
That's my favorite, though. I love it when that happens. Let's hop over to Magic Kingdom then. So William got to see for the first time Festival of Fantasy, also Happily Ever After, which I just think is one of the best nighttime shows, period.
100%.
It is fantastic, and the great thing about it is the way Magic Kingdom is laid out, every spot is good to watch it from. On my last trip, I think I saw it twice, and I literally snuck in the day I flew in, got into the park at like 7 or something, grabbed some food, got a great spot near the hub at 20 minutes before the show started. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. That would never happen at Disneyland.
No, not at all.
And I just love that show. You went on People Mover, I assume.
Okay, so
This sounds like an excuse, Caitlin.
No, so we kind of took it easy at Magic Kingdom. Like, we didn't get in super early because our first Fast Pass wasn't until like 10:30.
Yeah.
So we're like, we don't need to get there till 11. Because we kind of decided to cut our Animal Kingdom day short-ish. I mean, we still left at like 8.
Yeah.
And then ended up going to Disney Springs at like 9:30.
Nice.
So we're like, let's go to Disney Springs. William wanted chocolate from the ganachery, so I had to oblige.
There you go.
So we kind of took it easy at Magic Kingdom more because it was like, well, we don't need to go on Space Mountain. We don't need to go on Splash Mountain. There were a lot of things like we didn't have to do at Magic Kingdom. Like Mine Train was a must, and I had the Fast Pass for that. We had a Fast Pass for Haunted Mansion, and Mansion was closed the entire time we were there.
Yeah.
Until, no joke, during the fireworks, or right before the fireworks, I was like, Mansion just reopened.
They planned it that way.
It was crazy. So like Mansion was literally open for an hour of our trip, and we managed to go on. But like we didn't have as many priorities.
Which I love their Haunted Mansion. It's a lot of fun.
It's really cool. I mean, did it at night, so it was like spooky and all that. But
totally.
I think it was like after lunch. We're like, let's go on People Mover before we go see the parade.
Mm-hmm.
We're in line, and it breaks down, and we're like, cool. All right. So they're like, everyone get out of line. We're like, dang it. We've been waiting for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Breaks down. Everyone out of line. We're like, okay. So we went over to the Monsters Inc. laugh floor.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It was fun.
It's cute. Yeah.
Then went and we got a spot kind of in front of the like actually looking at the castle for Festival of Fantasy, like in the hub. No one around us. That was really nice because William just wanted to see Maleficent.
Sure.
He was like, I just want to see the fire. That's all I want to see. So kind of stood there for that, and then it was great because then the Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair show. That was like
that's
shortly after when we had a spot. I had never seen that. So we got to see that. And then we kind of were like, we don't really have anything else at Magic Kingdom that we want to do. Like we did Thunder, we did Country Bears.
Yeah, you hit all the big ones.
You know, like
we
weren't. Oh, we have to go do like I don't need to.
Well, that's the nice thing
there.
about
like...
Magic Kingdom over there is once like a lot of things are kind of doubled up, and so once you've done them, and you don't have to necessarily do them every single time you visit. And like Little Mermaid, I think is a prime example. Like it's basically identical, and Pirates of the Caribbean is shorter and different. Like there's some, but it's once you've seen it, it doesn't have the same novelty effect.
Right. And the surprising thing was while we were there, pretty much our entire trip, like it was at this point in time, it was pre-spring break season.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first week of March. It was busy the entire time.
I think it's always busy now.
Really busy. And I mean, granted, we were at Magic Kingdom on a Saturday, but we kind of went, all right, after the parade, we don't really have anything we need to do until the fireworks. So we kind of went, let's go check out the Polynesian. I just really wanted lime Dole Whip. Like the lime Dole Whip, if that ever hits Disneyland, I will never eat any other snack ever again.
I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
So we popped over to the Polynesian, went and got our lime Dole Whip. William had never had it. It was freezing. It was literally 50 degrees, super windy. We were sitting on the beach, like looking at Magic Kingdom, and I'm eating my Dole Whip. I was texting you, and I was so
did you take the monorail or the ferry over?
We took the monorail, which in hindsight we probably just should have taken the ferry because something happened with the monorail and it was delayed.
Oh, so you took forever.
Minutes.
Got it.
So it's kind of like, well, we're already here. So if we leave, of course it would be like, you leave and you go to get another mode of transportation and then it works.
Absolutely.
So we're like, we'll just stay here. So we
Ferry's more fun now.
We should have taken the ferry.
Well.
But then, we just kind of hung out at the Polynesian for a while, got our lime Dole Whip, that's all I wanted, and then had dinner there, and then popped back over, got a spot for Happily Ever After, like behind the trash can.
Of course, because that's where you do.
No one was in front of us.
That's what you do.
We saw that, and I think that's probably my favorite fireworks show, other than Remember. Like, I love Remember Dreams Come True.
The original version, yes, but when they shortened it, I think that's where Happily Ever After takes the cake. I also think, I don't know. I think in some ways, Happily Ever After takes you on a better emotional journey, with the emotional highs and the emotional lows. And whereas Remember Dreams Come True really is a nostalgic journey, and so it connects you in a different place, way, whatever. And I kind of think that Happily Ever After is probably a little bit more universal in its appeal, just because Remember is so entrenched, and you have to have been to Disneyland before once. You have to know what it's talking about. Like there's a lot of stuff built into it that it assumes, which rightly most of the people do know it at some level. But Happily Ever After is just a fantastic show. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I probably took about 600 pictures.
Yeah,
just
of course,
fireworks.
as you're supposed to. It's kind of a rule.
It took me like 6 days to finally get through all of my photos from the trip because it was just too many.
You're ahead of me. I've got photos I haven't even looked at from when I went in October. Like,
it took forever.
It's a trick.
It was a lot. Because also William and I, like we vlogged with the idea of maybe I'll make these videos, which was more just, if I end up actually putting a vlog together, it's more for our mom to see what we do.
I think you should put the vlog together. I would laugh myself. And we need content.
And it's funny because most of the days, our first day, oh my gracious, we're at Hollywood Studios, we're waiting for the Indiana Jones stunt show. And I'm like, hey, we're in Hollywood Studios. And Blake's like, I thought we're in Florida. And like, I don't think I could have eye rolled like any more than that.
Perfect.
This
Perfect.
is going to be my next week. Like anytime I would say something, he'd be like, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Nice.
7 days of just him making puns. So the first time I made a pun, like day 5, he's like, oh, I said, oh, we're onward to see onward. And he's like, you made a pun. It's so bad. But yeah, so we took a bunch of videos and it was fun. But we haven't talked about Epcot.
No, we're getting to that next. I was saving the best for last, at least in my opinion. So let's move on to Epcot.
Epcot, we did Epcot our second day. Again, super miserable. It was awful how hot it was. But it was the second day of the Flower and Garden Festival. So that was fun.
It's a beautiful time of year to be there.
Yeah, except it was really weird because we took, actually gonna backtrack a little bit because earlier that morning we haven't really seen a lot of the resorts, and William was like, I kind of want to go check out some of the other hotels.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's do that. And so we started our morning because we didn't have as much at Epcot because so much is closed. So we ended up taking a lift over to Art of Animation, and we kind of walked around Art of Animation. Super fun. We had breakfast there. Actually, it was a really good breakfast. So I told William, I was like, next time we come with Mom and Dad, we need to stay here. So it's just really fun. All the theming is really cute. Ended up walking over to the Skyliner because I was really excited about the Skyliner. Let me tell you. I think I was most excited about the Skyliner.
It's really a lot of fun. Like, I love the Skyliner.
We got on and like 5 seconds in, I'm like, this is my new favorite thing. I just want to take the Skyliner everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day for it. We got a bucket all to ourselves. And I will say, if you haven't been on the Skyliner, don't just request a bucket because it looks cute on the outside because you can't see out of it.
Yeah, request the ones that doesn't have anything on the outside.
So we did that. I was like, can you request one that doesn't have a decal on it? And they're like, okay. And so we later in the day ended up doing one with a decal, and I was like, yeah, you can't really see out of these at all.
Especially if you want to get pictures or something, like it's a lost cause.
Yeah, so if you want to actually see everything, get one without
definitely
the stickers on it. So we took the Skyliner over to the Riviera, and the Riviera is gorgeous.
It looks like it.
Oh my goodness. So we walked around over there for a little bit. It's kind of fun in their like outdoor courtyard area. They have like a thing that's like giant chess, and then they have like giant checkers or like all these giant kind of like games to do. And I think they had like fancy looking cornhole and swings, and like it's really pretty.
Cool.
We went up into the lobby, and it's a gorgeous hotel. So we kind of walked around there a little bit, got back on the Skyliner, and then went over to Epcot. So we entered in from Epcot from the back. So we kind of just did like World Showcase and all that. And I was like, oh, we probably should go up to the front of the park. You can't get to the front of the park.
It's hard. Like, no, you have to go around the outsides now.
There are so many walls. I felt so lost. Like the only reason we went up to the front was to go on Spaceship Earth because.
Which is a good choice.
Yes.
Especially now knowing that it's changing soon.
Yeah.
Assuming it's still on track to do that.
Who knows? And William had never done it, so I was like, we have to do Spaceship Earth. I know. He was just kind of like, it's cool. He didn't love it. It's fine. But we did it. But that was the only reason to really go up to the front of the park because there's nothing up there. So we just kind of stayed mostly in World Showcase, which a lot of the topiaries had to be moved because there's no place to put them in Future World.
Oh, yeah. So they're bumped up there.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Like trying to find all the topiaries was actually kind of hard because a lot of them were moved from at least I went 3 years ago for Flower and Garden. And so it was like, oh, I remember where these were. But then it was like, oh, okay, wait, this is moved. And so you actually had to look at the guide, like to find it. But I got pictures of all of them, and I will eventually put them into an article.
That'd be great.
Eventually. The one new one that they had was Remy, and he was really cute. So he was over in France.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was fun. We just kind of like walked around there.
So what's your favorite part of Epcot?
Does the food count?
Sure.
I was really excited to eat. Like we had reservations.
Where's your favorite place to eat in Epcot?
Oh, that's a good question. I think probably the France
Yeah.
patisserie.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where I would choose. Like to me, it's not even a like that's best. It's got great. It's a great place to start your day because they got good coffee and they've got great pastries in the morning. If you're later in the day, they've got really good sandwiches and all sorts of stuff. Like I love it back
Yeah,
there.
we went over there, and I hope William's not watching, but he was a little grumpy. So I was like, "We're gonna go in the pastry
Even if he's
shop.
not,
We're
I'm sure
going
Annie will
to
tell him.
I was like, we're gonna get something to eat, okay? Like we'll get a dessert." And he walked in there and he was like, "I don't know what to pick." I think
All of it.
He ended up getting on our first day because I had to get the Nutella beignets. Like
Of course.
that is a must.
That
for
and a
me.
cup of coffee is like the perfect snack.
Like the Nutella beignet brings me so much joy.
Yeah, I agree.
William, I think because William got 2 desserts both times because he's like, I need to try multiple things, and I was like, all right.
Yes, you do.
But I think the first time he got like a strawberry and cream like pie tart thing, and then like a chocolate tart, and he didn't share, so it's fine.
allowed. It's allowed.
So I think I would probably go there. For William, he loves the oh my gosh, Via Napoli in Italy. So we made reservations for there because it's gonna sound really weird, but they have a pizza, and he had it almost 10 years ago when we went, and it was like a thing in Italy. I don't know how legit this is, but I'm guessing it is a legit thing where they wrap cantaloupe in prosciutto.
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous.
Nope, I've had this.
It's freaking amazing, and they actually make a pizza of it. So yeah, cantaloupe on pizza sounds super weird, but also people do pineapple.
I was gonna say people put pineapple on it, so what's the difference? Yeah.
So so we went literally to get this pizza and share it. So that was really good. So I would say probably between France and Italy, like can't go wrong.
What's your favorite attraction at Epcot?
Because there's so many to choose from.
Yeah, makes it easier.
Like what attractions are in Epcot? Oh my gosh! Because
there's Living with the Land, there's Soarin', there's Journey into Imagination, Spaceship Earth, Finding Nemo, Impression de France, the Canada Circle Vision, the new Beauty and the Beast show, the China Circle Vision, and Mexico. Oh, and Adam's also Mission Space and Test Track.
Okay, so the only
I probably missed something, but
we did Living with the Land because I feel like you can't go wrong with Living with the Land.
It's very relaxing.
Also because it was like 90 degrees, so we're like, oh my gosh, we need to go inside.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-10 minute wait. So we did Living with the Land, Spaceship Earth, Frozen.
Oh yeah, Frozen. I missed that one.
We did Circle Vision on our second day, and I can't do Circle Vision even though it doesn't move. But the Canada one.
Okay.
We stood there, and I was like, I can't do this.
You didn't do Journey into Imagination? No Figment? Shame on you.
I
All right. So as we wrap this up, what was your number one favorite thing for the entire trip?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
You can do it.
That's the one thing my mom always asks. She was like, "What was your favorite part?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't." That's literally. This is why you and my mom are also so similar.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here for. People want to know, like this
I know.
The hard-hitting questions.
I'm gonna say because food, I feel like is such a cop out.
Okay.
Because the food, like we just ate so much good food the entire time we were there. Like it's delicious.
That's always a hit in Florida.
I feel like that's where Disney World kind of has an edge over Disneyland. Is there so many things that you really want to eat? Like,
well, I think part of it's the perk of having so many more people.
True, and I think Disneyland has become so like, let's make it cute. Like
the Instagram,
let's make it delicious.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know what William would say, so I'm not going to say the same thing.
So what would William say, and then what would you say?
So funny enough, I think William's favorite thing of the entire trip, he was so adamant about doing it, and I was like, please don't get your hopes up if this doesn't happen.
Oh,
Was seeing the lion, like that wellness checkup.
Oh,
they said
okay.
there's a chance. They were like, there's a chance it might not happen if something else comes up and we have an animal that needs medical attention.
Interesting.
And he was just like, I want to make sure we are there at 9:30 in the morning.
Huh.
Like, he was so adamant about seeing it.
Interesting.
So I think that was his favorite thing,
Okay.
and it was really cool. But I think being at Hollywood Studios on opening day of a brand new attraction,
That's always magical.
it just was super fun. Like, and also to be there with like my brother, and just, you know, we had a
Yeah,
blast
he's okay.
together. He's fine. You know, I think being able to be like, oh, I was one of the first people to be on this brand new attraction.
Literally. Yeah.
And I got to do it twice on opening day.
That's
So
very
I
cool.
think that was probably like the coolest part of, yeah, I was there
Nice.
opening day. Like, it was fun.
Cool.
So,
Well, thank you for sharing your trip with us, Caitlin.
you're welcome.
For those of you that are still watching, make sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time for Geeks Corner. We will have our very special guest, Mr. Doug Marsh, coming on the show to talk about 30 years ago at Disneyland, and he had a fantastic post that went up today that you won't want to miss. Make sure to subscribe also to this YouTube channel, because we do have actually more videos to still post, because we have a pretty big backlog. And then also subscribe to dapsmagic.com so you can keep up with all of the updates that are happening literally every day. It's I thought maybe with everything closed we'd be slowing down with news, but we're not. So make sure to subscribe there. You can find us all on social media as well. And we look forward to connecting with you next time. But for now, have a great night, everybody.
Bye.